Hi everyone, long time no see. I've had a lot of stuff going on, but for my 100th video I asked you guys what you wanted to see, and you guys wanted me to go into the little attic manhole thing above my front door to see what was above us. So I did go up there, and I will insert that clip now of me going up there and of the let's just say what I experienced while I was up there. Okay guys, it's Nathan, Ali, I'm behind the camera. We have opened it enough to put the camera up there, so standing on a chair. So putting the camera up there. Ready? Bah! I'm so sorry if that scared you. I had to do it. So if you're on my Facebook page, you guys would know that I said that I was going to film my 100th video and there was going to be like a little joke in there. That was the joke. I think it's funny. I'm really sorry if you had a heart attack. I'm not to blame, I swear. So this is my 100th video. So this is my 100th video. How exciting. So I asked you guys what you wanted my 100th video to be, and you guys said that you wanted me to go up to the manhole that is above my front door. Now we went up there and I took two photos. I took a lot of photos, but two of them actually had orbs in them, so I'll insert them in a second. And as you guys can see from those photos, one of them, the first photo is kind of like, and see, this is the thing, if it was dust in those photos, there would be a lot more particles moving around, if that makes sense. In the first photo you can see, sorry, I just thought I saw something, I don't know, like it's kind of like something was still, and then as soon as I took the camera, it took the photo, it moved. And then the second photo, you have to look really close. I don't know yet if I'm going to edit it. I might draw a circle around the orb so you can see what I'm talking about. But, you know, if it's dust, typically when there's dust, there's usually 100 million more surrounding it, if that makes sense. But if there's only two, I don't know. And as you guys can see in the photos, there's nothing up there that it can reflect off. It's literally just wood and, like, I can't think of what the word's called. Oh my god, I'm having a mind blank. What's it called? The stuff that, insulation. That's what it's called. Insulate. I can't, I hate my life. Anyway, you guys can see that there's no reflective surfaces, so I don't know if that's anything that I caught in the photos, but I thought I should just insert them. I don't know. And yeah, so I went up there because if you haven't watched my videos before, we live on the top story of a unit block, and we always hear footsteps and dragging sounds and stuff like that above us, which is obviously, there shouldn't be anyone up there. Sorry if you can hear weird sounds outside. Yeah, there shouldn't be anyone up there, so we just really wanted to see what was up there. So the clip you just saw at the beginning was, you know, me going up there, but that was kind of after I'd already looked and seen what was up there. But I will say though, I did get the creepiest vibe. I did not, like, when I couldn't go up there because I was standing on a chair, as you guys saw, and I'm not tall enough to kind of pull myself up, if that makes sense. Like, I could only just touch it. And when I first looked up there, I had the flashlight on, so when I was putting the camera up for that film, for that clip, it was like pitch black, and I was like, something's gonna grab me. Like, I was so nervous. But I do have a lot of paranormal things to fill you in on, so if you will forgive me about that clip that just happened, then I'll get into it. Okay, so I have them all written in my phone, all the experiences. A lot has happened, but I'll quickly just fill you in. Basically, without going into too much personal detail, my grandfather has dementia, my mum's dad, and we have been meaning to go up where he lives. He lives 8 hours away. Well, we figured out from going up there, it's like a 10-hour drive, but not 8 hours away. He lives in the country, so we had to go up and see him. So once the ball got rolling, I'm not going to go into too much detail as to why we had to go see him, blah 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 blah. once we found out why we had to go up there, some crazy paranormal stuff started happening. So the first thing actually happened before we even got any indication for us to go to visit him. I mean, obviously dementia isn't just a quick one day you wake up you have dementia. It is a slow process. Well, slow. He started to kind of get the symptoms of it. Dementia, Alzheimer's, same thing. He started to get the symptoms maybe 2 years ago, and halfway through last year Mum and I were like, alright, we've got to go up there. But then she got a new job, and then she moved jobs again, and it's just, you know, to drive 10 hours, it's hard when you're working full time. So the first thing I'm about to tell you happened about a week before we basically got a phone call from their neighbour saying you need to come up and see them now. So the first thing that happened was we have a one of those photo frames, those long photo frames that put like 5 photos, one below the other, below the other, below the other, if that makes sense. And in that we had like a photo of me, a photo of my mum and I, family photos, and at the bottom, and one of the photos was of my mum and her dad, my grandpa. And one morning my mum was getting ready for work and she heard the loudest crash. And she was like, what the fuck was that? It didn't wake me up, I wasn't awake. She goes into the kitchen, that photo frame has fallen. This is the weird thing. It had slid off the hook, but the hook was still on the wall, which makes no sense. It was just kind of standing upright against the wall, but the hook was still up. And the only photo or bit of glass that was cracked was around the photo of her and my grandpa, which, I mean, could be paranormal, might not be, but I just think, you know, that was interesting now, knowing what we know. Another thing is, we were looking, once we got the phone call from my grandpa and the person that he lives with, their neighbour called us and said, you need to come up here. And that night we were looking for a family member's number to call them and let them know what's happening. Mum was looking through all these drawers that we've got, all these drawers, there's like 3, to try and find this number because it wasn't in her phone book. And she found this letter from her godmother that died like 5 years ago that had never been opened, and it was talking about like guardian angels and stuff, and it was really, really weird. And she was like, when I go, I'll be your guardian angel, and it was unopened and it was from like 5 years ago. So, I mean, this isn't necessarily paranormal, but I'm kind of just telling you guys interesting things that have been happening, like that photo, that letter has been sitting there for 5 years. Mind you, it's a drawer that we look in all the time. It was unopened, which my mum would never do. I don't know, it's just interesting. The next thing is, I've kind of just got dot points, and because so much has happened, I'm kind of going to elaborate on them as much as I can remember. But I've got here that a lot of the doors, after we found out about my grandpa, a lot of the doors were opening and closing by themselves, mainly the hallway door that's behind me, and I was experiencing that, just opening and closing, and it wasn't windy, which, I mean, sometimes if you open our front door and you close it, sometimes the doors move because of just the suction in the house. But I mean, it wasn't windy, no one was opening or closing any other doors. This next thing that I'm about to tell you is super, super weird. So my mum wears gold jewelry, and she has 2 necklaces. One of them is just a plain gold chain, and another one is a gold chain that her mum, my grandma, who passed away when I was 8, I'm now 19 for those of you that just want to work it out, 11 years ago. Her mum helped her buy when she was probably my age. She was telling me the story that back in the days where, you know, obviously, back in the days where these men in suits would carry around shady suitcases, and obviously it would be full of stolen goods, and they'd go and sell it to people, one of those things. Not that it was fake jewelry, but they were just stealing it and then selling it. My mum had, I think it was back then maybe $200, which is still a lot of money, but back when she was like my age, it was a lot of money. And she was telling me that this particular necklace, it has a heart on it, but the chain my grandma bought for her, so it is of sentimental value. Anyway, one morning, a few days ago, anyway, so my mum was in the bathroom. She was bending down to pick the hairdryer up off the floor. And keep in mind, she's had this chain around her neck since she was my age. I'm 19, she is now 55. You work out how many years that is. Chain has never broken, never anything has ever happened to it. She's always worn it. She only will take it off, you know, I don't know, if she wants to. So she was bending down, like I said, picking the hairdryer up off the floor. The next second, the chain falls off around her neck and lands directly kind of like where she is bending over to get the hairdryer off. And at first she was like, oh, well, maybe one of the links in the chain have broken, because, you know, sometimes with old jewelry, sometimes links do break. I mean, if you catch a necklace or a bracelet that's old on something and you pull it, a link might break. This is where it's weird. No links were broken. Where it was actually off was at the clasp. And if you wear necklaces, you know it's physically impossible for the clasp to come undone by itself, because you have to pull a little lever to unhook it. And it came off by itself, and the bit that it was undone at was the clasp. So I think that's really weird. Yeah, so that was kind of like really, really weird. And the next thing, like I said, I have a lot of stories to tell you guys, was Nathan was staying over about a week ago. I'm going to say a week ago, but it was probably a little less. I'm not sure. It's just, all this has happened from when we got the phone call till we left to see him. By the way, I just got back yesterday, so that's why I have like no makeup on, driving for 10 hours. Ugh. Anyway, so Nathan was staying over and we're lying in bed. And the next minute we heard, and I mean, I've told you guys that I hear sounds above me, and Nathan has heard them, but he hears them but doesn't necessarily say anything. But this was so loud. It was like a dragging furniture. Like, it was so loud. We both sat up in bed. It woke us up. I literally held on to him and I was staring at the ceiling, preparing myself for someone to fall through the ceiling. That is how loud it was. Like, I can't explain. It literally sounded like I was sitting right next to someone in a room that had wood floors, and they were dragging like a huge, I don't even know what I can give you an example of that would make that kind of sound. It was so loud, and there was tapping and footsteps, and it comes from above us. But yeah, so it was so loud, and Nathan and I were like, what the fuck? We were so scared. And okay, so this next thing that I'm going to tell you is actually a dream I had 2 days before we left to go see my grandfather. It's not necessarily paranormal, but in the dream I had experienced paranormal things, and I just thought it would be something interesting to tell you, because you guys know I don't get scared very easily. But this dream, I actually had woken up crying. Like, I woke up and I was petrified. I've never been that so scared in my life. So basically, in the dream there was Mel, my mum, and I. You know, guys know Mel, she's my best friend, one of them. And Mel and I were sitting on one couch, and it's hard to explain, but over there, okay, so there's this couch behind me, right? There's another couch that is facing me just over there. And when you're sitting on that couch looking that way, I have the TV right there, and then I have a little doorway that's just there, and you can see kind of into the laundry a little bit depending where you're sitting on the couch. In the dream, Mel and I were sitting on the couch, and there was clothes hanging up in the laundry. Like, you know how you can get those racks that you hang on top of doors that dry clothes, if that makes sense, rather than like a clothes horse that you put on the ground. You can just buy these racks that you hang off doors for the laundry and stuff. So anyway, in my dream there was clothes hanging, and I don't know how to explain it, but it was like something, I couldn't see anything, but all the clothes were like being pulled and like tugged one by one really fast, like do 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 do. And I was watching it, and for some reason all the lights were off as well, which was really weird, but I could still see in the laundry. It was bizarre. So in the dream, I remember Mel and I were like holding on to each other like we were so scared, and I was yelling. I was like, show yourself, get away, stop it, who are you? Like, I was crying in the dream. I was so scared. I was like, show yourself, who are you, blah 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 blah. So then Mel and I got up, and I said to Mum, you turn a light on and Mel and I are going to go to the laundry. So I'm walking into the laundry like all tough and shit, and I'm like, show yourself, reveal yourself, who are you? It was like a fucking out of The Exorcist or something. Like, it was really, really freaky. And then we go into the laundry, and we had like, we don't have them, but in the dream we did, like 2 canvases, like, you know, canvas. It was only like about that big, not probably as big as my head, it wasn't that big. And they were like done with, like, you can buy paint, and I've seen it before where when it dries, it doesn't dry flat. Like, if you put a lot of paint on in a certain spot, it's going to dry 3D, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's acrylic paint, or there's a certain paint, I don't know what it's called. If you're an artist, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not, it's like, 3D paint. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, so we had 2 photos of those, and they were of like water and like ocean and stuff. And one was kind of leaning on something and it came flying at my head, and me and Mel kind of moved our heads out of the way, and then the next one kind of started moving towards us, and just as it was about to fly at my face, I woke up, and I woke up so petrified. I was crying my eyes out. I was like, Mom! Like, it was so bad. So I don't know what that was, but that, oh my god, it freaked me out big time. I'm out of breath. I have so much to tell you. And the last thing that has happened happened 2 days, the day before and the second day before we left to go see my grandpa. We have a lamp, right? And my mum has had that lamp for, I don't know, 30 years or something, right? It's fine, it has no issues, it's never broken, nothing is wrong with it. The only time anything is wrong with it is when we have family issues going on. So 2 days, and the day before we left to see Papa, it was flickering, and not just like a little bit, it was like off, on, bright, really bright, on, off, on, off, on, off. And Nathan was here. I can't remember if he saw it or not, but my mum did and I did. And it was because obviously, you know, 2 days and the day before we're leaving to see my grandpa at 10 hours, we're obviously discussing what we're going to do, what we're going to do when we get there, what he's going to be like, talking about it. It's flickering non-stop, and since we have gotten back, well, since last night, it has not done it once, and it has not flickered for I don't know how long. I think the last time it flickered was when we lived at the other unit, and we were having some other issues. I can't remember, but the only time that lamp has got any issues with it is when we have like things going on in our family and it flickers. So I'm out of breath. Whew. So that's everything paranormal wise that has been happening with me. I hope you liked my 100th video, and I really hope that I didn't scare you guys too much. I just thought it would be a funny little thing to put in, but yeah, let me know what you guys think of the photos that I put up of the attic. Let me know what you guys think of my experiences and stuff, and I'll see you guys in my 100th and one. I don't even know how to say that. I'm tired, I'm out of breath, but yeah. And also, I just want to thank each and every one of you that have been with me for my 100 videos. Let's hope for another 100, hey? Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!